Here's something most gardeners don't like to admit. After a season or two, potting soil dies. You can water it, add fertilizer, even fluff it up, but somehow it just won't grow like it used to. Seeds stall, roots rot, and the once vibrant earthy scent is replaced by something stale. Most people toss it out and start fresh. But what if that same tired soil could be revived, not just reused, but transformed into something alive again? The truth is, old potting soil isn't dead. It's simply exhausted. What it needs isn't more chemical feed, but the spark of life, the microbes, fungi and organic structure that make healthy earth breathe. Today we're breaking down how to bring old potting soil back to life and turn what most people throw away into the most productive growing medium you'll ever own. Old potting soil fails because it has lost its biological balance, not its minerals. When soil in pots goes bad, the issue isn't that the nutrients are gone. It's that the life that cycles them has died off. Fresh potting mixes start with peat or cocoa coir, compost, perliter, and a dose of microbes. Over time, constant watering, fertilizers, and root growth deplete the microbial community. Without living bacteria and fungi to break down organic matter, the soil can no longer exchange nutrients efficiently. What's left behind is compacted, acidic, and anaerobic, a dead substrate that suffocates roots rather than feeds them. A simple way to tell if your potting soil has reached that state is by smell and texture. Healthy soil smells earthy, almost sweet. Dead soil smells sour, stale, or musty. It may clump when wet and feel dusty when dry. That's the sign that the microscopic workforce, the decomposers, the nitrogen fixers, the mycorrhizal networks, are gone. The minerals are still there, locked inside, but without microbes, plants can't access them. To fix it, you need to rebuild the living ecosystem that once existed within it. The first step in transforming old potting soil is to break up compaction and restore airflow. Start by dumping your used soil into a large container or onto a tarp. Loosen it by hand, removing dead roots and debris. This not only opens space for water and oxygen, but clears out areas where disease organisms might linger. Then you'll need to reintroduce organic matter, the foundation of microbial life. A good mix of compost, worm castings, or aged leaf mould feeds beneficial bacteria and fungi, which in turn unlock minerals and build soil structure. For every bucket of old potting soil, you'll want to add, roughly 1/4 of a bucket of high-quality compost and a good handful of worm castings. Mix it all thoroughly and moisten it just enough so it feels damp to the touch, not soggy, mind you. Then, to really get those microbes going, give them a reason to multiply. Add a biological starter, perhaps a small scoop of garden soil, or even better, a bit of finished compost that's visibly active with those lovely white fungal threads. This acts as an inoculant, seeding your soil with billions of dormant organisms just waiting to recolonize the mix. Now, for those of you who want to take things a step further, a microbial tea made by soaking compost, molasses and aerated water for about 24 hours can really supercharge the process. When you pour it over your refreshed mix, it delivers active bacteria directly into the soil network. Within just a few days, you'll notice a subtle but distinct transformation. The texture lightens, the smell sweetens, and the mix, well, it starts to behave like living soil again. Here's a detail that honestly many folks overlook. Microbes need carbon to thrive just as much as they need nitrogen. Without carbon sources like shredded leaves, straw or biochar, the microbes you introduce simply won't last. They'll use up the limited organic matter and, unfortunately, die off again. To prevent that, mix in small amounts of shredded dry material, those carbon-rich browns that act like a slow-release buffet for microbial life. Biochar, in particular, works absolute wonders. When activated with compost tea or even diluted fertilizer, it becomes a habitat for microbes, storing nutrients and moisture, all while improving soil structure. The beauty of balance. When you combine organic matter, microbial inoculants and carbon storage, something magical happens. That once lifeless potting soil transforms into a dynamic ecosystem. It's no longer just dirt, you see. It becomes a living sponge, holding air, moisture, and life itself. And once this structure is established, plants will not only survive, but truly thrive. They'll need less fertilizer and show stronger resistance to diseases. Quite remarkable, isn't it? Now, once you've rebuilt your soil mix, resist the urge to use it straight away. Much like compost, it needs a bit of time to cure. Place your rejuvenated mix in a shaded spot, covering it lightly with a breathable cloth or tarp. Over the next 2 to 4 weeks, those wonderful microbes will multiply, consuming excess organic compounds and stabilizing nutrient levels. During this period, it's a good idea to turn the mix weekly to keep the oxygen flowing. And if it ever dries out, just give it a light mist to maintain a moist, but not wet, consistency. By the end of this curing stage, you'll notice a delightful change. The soil becomes darker, richer and loose. That's your physical sign that it's come back to life. When you use it in pots again, it'll hold water evenly and release nutrients in harmony with your plant's needs. But more importantly, the microbial community will continue to flourish, making the soil increasingly fertile with each use, rather than depleting it. It's a wonderful cycle of renewal, truly. Once you've revived a batch, it's easy to keep it alive. After each growing season, remove spent roots, but leave those fine root hairs behind. They feed the microbial network, you see. Add small amounts of compost or organic material regularly, and avoid sterilizing or drying the soil completely. When you rotate between plants, choose different types. For example, follow heavy feeders like tomatoes, with lighter crops like herbs or leafy greens. This reduces strain on specific nutrient pathways and keeps the ecosystem balanced. For a more advanced system, you can even set up a small composting bin next to your potting area. Every time you refresh your soil, pull from that bin to re-inoculate it. Over time, your waste soil becomes more fertile, diverse and resilient than the expensive store-bought mix you started with. Dead soil can always be reborn, but only if you treat it as a living system. Bringing soil back to life isn't about adding fertilizer or pouring in chemicals. It's about understanding that soil itself is alive. The air, moisture, organic matter and microbial activity all work together to form the foundation of plant health. When those elements are restored, even the oldest potting mix can produce strong, vibrant plants again. The same biology that sustains forests and fields can exist right in your pots. if you give it the chance. If this guide helped you see your soil differently and gave you practical steps to bring it back to life, make sure to subscribe to Botanical. Share this video with someone who's about to throw out their dead potting mix, and remind them that every handful of soil has the potential to live again.